to
Chevy Dude Extra. I'm Chevy Dude.
And I'm Mrs. Chevy Dude.
This is Corey.
And this is Portia.
And I hope you guys come along for the ride and journey and fun on this channel. Now that all of our kids are completely out of the house, we wanted to create this channel to just show you guys what we're all about, have a whole lot of fun, maybe get you modding some cars.
Maybe.
Have you ever done anything with a screwdriver? So my real name is Mike. This is Andy. A-N-D-Y?
No.
A-N-D-I. Her real name is Adrian, and she loves it when you say, yo, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian, my darling.
No, absolutely not.
But before we get into this channel, we wanted to just kind of show you a little bit about our life before today. So we have to make a road trip to Northwest Ohio. All right, well, sounds like we came back to town at probably a right time because, look, they're throwing candy out at, like, people who are at this parade. So, like I said, we're...
Giving candy to babies?
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to not take candy from strangers, right?
I know, and it was a white van.
White van, no windows, so maybe a window. But this is what happens in, like, a small town. There's... Like, the population of this town is like 900. The building behind me is really interesting. We're gonna talk about my dad here in a little bit, and I actually would come up here to do something for my dad that here in 2021 would probably land him in jail for a long time, and probably some people here in jail.
If I'm going to prison, I'm gonna need at least a toothbrush and some clean underwear.
So this used to be called the Pop and Brew. It looks like it's just called the Marathon. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, there it is. It is still called the Pop and Brew. So you can literally drive through here, and still can drive through here, get beer, get, cold beer, right? You get cold beer in your car, pop, soda, whatever you want. And this is the only place, I think, in town that you can get gas. This is the entire epicenter of town, right? So this used to be different things. We're on Main Street. Look, Main Street, right? It says right there, Main Street. The pharmacy down here, I used to steal candy out of there all the time as a kid.
I never taught you to be a thief.
Oasis Bar and Grill. Now we're in Ohio, right? And she may not know this, but when I was a kid, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, I hung out at that bar all the time.
I can imagine it. You were a bad boy.
And I think it's completely legal here in Ohio for like a kid to be in a bar. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think maybe like you can't. Ohio. I think maybe you can't like be at the bar, but you can be like in the area of the bar, which is illegal in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're 100 feet down is where I grew up most of my life. I've only place I know is down here. I was born in 1977. I moved out of this place in 1992, and I think I've only been back here since 1992, which is 29 years, which makes me sound really old, which the camera operator, Mrs. Chevy Dude, means you got to be really old too, right?
No, you're old.
I think we've only been back here like once or twice, right?
Yeah.
So we came to this house. It's interesting seeing the changes. So there's a cell phone tower right here. Obviously, I've never seen that. You can kind of see the fence back there. There should be a pond back there. I don't know if there is or not. I don't know if this family still owns it that live next to me. This is kind of hard. I haven't been back here in a while. Just kind of like reminiscing, and we showed you that parade early on. So that parade actually always started at the football field right back here and would come down this road right here. We would sit out here and we would have bags so we could get candy, because that's the thing to do. You saw that, right? I don't know if that happens anywhere else in America. I'm sure it's got to, but definitely since 1992 to 2001, my kids, who are the youngest one's 21, the oldest one's 26, they've never experienced getting candy thrown out at a parade. I can tell you that right now. A tree still there, that's hilarious. So I'm sure she's long passed away, but there was an old lady that lived there that just was a Karen, right? She wasn't a Karen in the 80s as far as terminology goes, but she's a Karen. And we used to toilet paper her yard, and my mom would be so pissed. And one day I came up with this great idea of using instant mashed potatoes the night before it rained, and we covered her entire yard with instant mashed potatoes. And of course it rained, and what happens with instant mashed potatoes when you mix water? It makes potatoes in the yard. Oh my God, the cops were called. It was insane. This is where I lived, right? So where that mailbox was, there was never a mailbox there. That was all gravel because like you could come up on the road and just like park here. And then there was a house right at the beginning here, and that was like, it was like a house from the 1920s, right? It was so old, so run down. I think the year was like 1988. My dad and my mom bought a mobile home. We tore that house down physically by hand. Like I was in there tearing it down with someone. And we had a trailer that was longwise on the property because we owned this part of the property, and then back where that other trailer is there now, we owned all that back there as well. It was Christmas time. It was right before Christmas time. My brother and I were snooping through Christmas presents. We literally was like unwrapping them so softly and so slowly and taping them back up so we wouldn't get caught. It was probably close to 1 o'clock in the morning, and we go out, try to wake up my dad, and didn't know at the time, but my dad had actually passed away. I found him, and so I didn't know what to do. I was sixth grade, and so I literally ran to this neighbor's house, banged on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning to get help, right? So back then there was no 911 service in this town. It was a 7 or 10 digit phone number, depending on where you're at, but a 7-digit phone number to get help, and it's a volunteer town, so the response times were slow. My mom worked in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which at the time was 45 minutes to an hour from here. We were home alone. I remember vividly, my dad passed away. I remember 2 things. I remember a lot of things, but 2 things I'm going to talk about. I remember the coroner coming out of the house. My mom gets here, and the coroner tells my mom that dad passed away. I wasn't liked. I was bullied. We were the poor people in town. We had no money. Cars repoed, all that stuff. Like no money. Like that year, it was Christmas time. We had some presents, but the following year we had no money, and the church came in, like Santa Claus came to our house and gave us presents, right? We saw him during the day, which as an adult I know is the church and charity and stuff like that. So my dad's funeral was a few days later, and remember, I wasn't liked. I was bullied as a kid, and I'm sitting there grieving of losing my dad, and the entire 6th grade comes in and just pays their respect to my dad, and that was like an amazing event, and I don't think I've ever talked about it ever since then. I don't even know, do you know anything about it? So and now thinking about it, I probably haven't talked about it in almost 30 plus years. I think it was 1988, 89, 90, something like that, 90 maybe, 91. He's buried right over here. I literally can go look, know right where he's buried at, and I haven't been here in 30 years. That's the type of things as a kid that you don't want to go through, and it's like what I've worked at so hard to raise my kids and the values that I have. This is where they all stem from. So behind me is my school that I went to until 8th grade. How many grades do you think are in this school?
Oh, I already know the answer to
You already
that.
know the answer. So let me show them, since you're going to try to spoil it. So this is actually the old school. They just, I don't know how long ago, but there's a brand new school over by where I live. And this was the old school. I used to walk all the way here, and it's maybe like a mile and a half. I have to look it up on Google Earth to see how far I walked. But this was K through 12 schools, and I don't know how long this has been gone, but they literally still have the Antwerp Archers sign right here. I mentioned earlier that I was bullied, and I saw a new piece of cement down there, and it reminded me that I was bullied by some kids. They were throwing rocks at me, right? And I'm running, and there was raised cement, and I tripped over it and fell, and literally, I think on this side of my head, I fell and just bashed my head open. Couldn't go to school that day because I had to go to ER and get stitches and all that stuff. But just kind of I don't know, just kind of tell you a little bit about, you know, small town living. I don't know. Right on the other side of the school here is actually the funeral home where my dad, you know, had the funeral. So right there literally is the funeral home. And this blacktop was never here. This is something new. And my grandma had her funeral here as well. She passed away a few years ago. So we literally were just here, down to a church down there and the cemetery down there, and then we left. We didn't stick around. We didn't look at anything here. And it's just kind of interesting, you know, seeing this place. Like, even to this day, I don't know if you know this, like, I hate funerals. I don't like going to funerals.
Does anybody like?
Well, I'm just saying, like it's a fear. Like I have a phobia of going, right? Like, I don't ever want to go there because just traumatized in 6th grade. And then speaking of my dad's area of funeral, I mentioned it earlier in the video that my dad had me doing what's probably presumable illegal then, but definitely illegal now, is he would give me a note. I would walk, right? I had to walk everywhere. I had a bicycle, but, you know, had to walk everywhere. And we would walk from the house with a note to the Pop and Brew, and it would say, it's okay for my son to purchase 2 packs of Old Gold cigarettes. He would literally have me go purchase cigarettes for him. Now, my dad was really overweight and just kind of lazy, and I'm not talking negative or down on him, just it was his personality, right? And I wasn't sure if I was gonna bring it up, but we're being absolutely just out, and my dad is not my real dad. He's adopted dad, and that's where my last name comes from. But I don't know my real father, and I don't ever want to know my real father. And that's like been my fear with all my social media, that my real father finds me or sees me. And I never want to see him. I never want to meet him. And if you are watching this, never contact me ever. I'm 44 years old. I haven't needed you the last 44 years, and I don't need you now. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care one bit. We want to start a car dealership down the road, and I need cash, and I don't care. I don't want your money. So it was kind of interesting just living in a small town that I could go up to a Pop and Brew and get cigarettes. And I don't know how I
say alcohol.
No, it wasn't alcohol. I don't remember him being a drinker. So, and I don't drink much, and you don't drink much, but I don't remember him being a drinker. He had some character flaws, right? So, and this is what I was getting off. This is what I was going to say earlier, and I got off on a tangent there for a second.
You're always on a tangent.
What? I am not.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe I am. I remember a vivid memory in the old house prior to the trailer that my dad got arrested, and I think he had to go to jail for 30 days. And that was a little traumatic as well, having a sheriff come to my dad's house when I was a little itty bitty kid. I probably was 5. And my series going off. I think I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And here comes the sheriff in, and I'm crying and telling the sheriff no, and I'm pulling on the sheriff's like leg and stuff, and don't take my daddy and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, it's just part of what's in my head, right? You have anybody get arrested in your life?
No.
No.
Well, not when I was around.
What do you mean when you're not around? Is there somebody in your family that I know that's got arrested that I don't know this story?
You know the story.
I'm confused.
I'm not going to.
This isn't about Mrs. Chevy Dude. And let me tell you, as we've been laying out videos, Mrs. Chevy Dude told me literally yesterday, if you haven't recognized, this channel is all me, as in her. She's like, you did say that you're in control of this channel, that this is your channel.
I said, yes, I'm in control of this channel, and I am the executive producer, but it was not all about me. I'm just going to control you.
That's not what you said. You literally said it's all about me, as in you.
I said, you can't make it all about you.
How far are we from Louisville right now?
Way too far.
Have fun walking. Again, not to like dwell on this whole bully thing, but like literally bullied here as well, shoved in lockers. And I went to school during corporal punishment time. I literally got a spanking from the principal for, I don't even know what it was, but
you were a bad boy.
Multiple spankings.
You are going to learn to be more.
So
it's funny because you were quite the geek.
I was the geek.
And a bad boy.
I was the geek and a bad boy because like second grade here, first grade, we started learning computer systems, right? We got a Macs and Commodores. I mean, I don't know if we got on a Mac, but a Commodore, certainly DOS, Oregon Trail. You remember Oregon Trail, right? Everybody loves Oregon Trail who's our age. But that's where I did it. And like, I was like advanced. I was just like, I learned it and I was a geek, like she said. I wasn't a geek.
Yes, band nerd.
I was a band nerd. Just like our two girls. But so like I got held back my first grade and my reading scores were really bad, but I could go into the bathroom and recite in perfect English and grammar. Everybody's bad, like, hey, meet me here at 2 a.m., right? And all the other naughty stuff that kids and adolescents write on bathroom walls at a school. So we know this is a super long video, but it's just to show you who we are. So my dad's passed away, and in 1992, I moved to Fort Wayne, and we just want to share with a little bit of how we met.
I'm sure that's your biggest mistake ever.
Biggest mistake ever of my life. And so stick with the video, watch it all the way in because we got some surprises here in a little bit. And then welcome to Fort Wayne, Indiana. In 1992, I moved to Fort Wayne after my family's house was foreclosed on, and this was my school, Northside High School. Now this is, again, bullied here. I tried out for the football team. That was a big mistake. And that's not the biggest mistake in my life. The biggest mistake in my life is meeting this girl and asking for her phone number. She told me no, and I didn't know at the time that I was a good salesman, but I went and asked her again, and this biggest mistake is still haunting me to this day.
Are you sure about that?
Ow! Oh, God, why'd you hit me, lady?
I am that girl.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Chevy dude.
28 years later, we're still here.
Oh, geez. Yes. So, second week of high school, 1992, I met this person right here. And we literally were coming around here. This is all kind of new. There's a cul-de-sac down here now that used to like come out on this road, and we had to come into the backside to get here. And I'm like, that concession stand window right there is where I went and I begged the person working to give me a pen and a paper. And she says no, because I won't bring it back. And I said, I promise you I'll bring it back. I'm trying to get this girl's phone number and I don't have anything to write it with. And then your friend, Amy, thank you, and her other friend, I don't remember her name. You remember her name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine? That doesn't sound right. Okay, they lied to her and they said, he ran all the way up to his locker to get that. I'm like, no, I didn't. They're like, shut up. Yeah, you did.
That's because they were trying to get me to give you my phone number. And here we are.
And the fun fact is, I actually knew her brother 2 months, 3 months, like July, August, September, like 2-3 months prior, because Amy, her friend, was babysitting her brother, and her brother and me and her, I guess, are 4 years apart. So when we were 15 at the time. Yeah, you're 6 months younger. So I was 16, you were 15.
No,
and
you were 15, I was 14.
15 and 14. Yeah, there we go.
You corrupted me.
Yeah, and so he would have been 10. So he needed a babysitter in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I was in 6th grade and didn't need a babysitter.
Sixth grade is like 12.
Oh, never mind. All right, so this is the first time I have walked up these stairs since probably late 1995. You're better at numbers and time, and I mean, you're a woman. You remember everything, right?
Exactly.
So, but I do remember one thing. So we met in 1992. Sometime in 1994, she coerced me. She abused me. She put like a sack over my head and put me in a dark room. And then March of 1995, you had a kid. I didn't even know. You're like, all of a sudden, you're a father.
No. It's a little hard to hide that when we were dating the whole time.
Right. So we had a kid at 17 years old, and I went here. She went to a Catholic school on the south side of Fort Wayne. Catholic.
Good
very
Catholic girl.
Very involved with the Catholic Church. All of a sudden, you got to go and say, "I'm pregnant." Hey, you guys are the ones who just don't believe in contraceptive, not me. That's all I gotta say. We had a kid, and like I had to start working, right? I had to support kids, and I remember the night that Zach was born, and I get in my car, and it wasn't a nice car, right? I bought my very first car for like $100 or $200, and then when I came to a stoplight, I would use the e-brake to stop the car. Literally, I'm not making this up, right? It did good. In the night that Zach was born, it was like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, something like that, right? So do you remember what time he was born?
Yeah.
Darn it. I was trying to trip her up because I don't remember. In the morning sometime.
No, he was not born in the morning.
No, see.
I was in labor for 9 hours.
Oh, okay. So for some reason, I'm trying to get from the north side of Fort Wayne to the southwest side of Fort Wayne. And the car just starts acting up. It's dying, check engine lights are coming on. And I'm trying to get there. I'm like, I can't miss this. She needs me. And I get there. I beat her to it. And that car never acted up ever again like that, ever. It was really weird. I got kicked out of the house, kind of left on my own. I was going to school here. I was in their business program, DECA. And I only had to come here for first period, and then I could go work. And that's what I did. I couldn't get an apartment at 17, so I was like literally living in the back of my car until her mom found out, and then I moved in with her. And
for a short period of time.
Short period of time. Lived in the basement, not in the same room at 17. Even though we had a kid together out of wedlock. So they didn't know was I actually had a third shift job working at a warehouse. I think it was called Dill Guards. And I would pick food for restaurants to put on the truck so the drivers could deliver trucks. And that was a third shift job, and I would get off like at 6 o'clock in the morning. Of course, I gotta be here by 8:30, something like that, and fell asleep in class. They figured it out, what was going on. Like, no, you can't be working a third shift job. And so ultimately, I just dropped out of school. I couldn't finish school. I couldn't get my diploma because money was more important to me than this place. You and Zach were more important to me at this place. And I mean, you know why.
I know why.
Why?
Because you grew up with nothing.
I grew up with absolutely nothing. I mentioned it earlier in the video, and I just vowed my entire life to never let my kids grow up that way. And the first time I went to your guys' house in 1992,
You were in shell shock.
I walk in, I'm like, oh my God, these people are rich, right? I mean, your mom, yeah, I mean, your mom had the same job for 30 years, and she just retired last year, which is awesome. Typical upper middle class family, and that was not something that I've ever experienced before. And I literally looked at you guys and was like, holy shit, these people are rich. That really, like, getting this relationship really triggered something in my head to just go out and be successful. I don't know where it comes from.
It taught you that people don't have to live the way you grew up.
Yeah, and literally, like, I'm estranged from my family. I don't talk to my brother, my sister, my mother. I haven't seen them in how long. Literally had to block my mom on Facebook because of stupid stuff she would post and pity stories and stuff like that I just don't want to be a part of. And it's a hard decision to do. And I know there's going to be people out there that critiques that decision, but it's my decision, and I live with it, and it's the right decision still to this day. But they still live this way. They still live this way to this day. Nothing's changed. One thing that I've taught my kids, you as well, is nothing happens to you, it happens because of you. And they don't want to take responsibility. They want to blame everybody else. Why their cars are repoed still to this day, why they're behind on bills, why water shut off, etc. So that's where we're at today. Just work. I mean, I miss so much kid stuff growing up because all I had to do was work, and all I was focused on was work. And I regret it, but I don't regret it, right? Like, I regret that, hey, maybe I didn't go to a kid's baseball game or something like that. But at the same time, we have 3 amazing kids that have great work ethics that don't ever ask me for money, which is super nice, right? And they're in their 21 to 26 years old, and they make mistakes. They take responsibility for those mistakes, and they grow from them, and they're good young adults. And this is where finally in my adult life that I got a little glimpse of being successful. So this is not the first dealership I worked at. I actually worked at a Chevy dealership right around the corner here. And
how'd you get that job?
You.
Oh, you're
gonna
actually
you're
gonna thank me for pushing you into being a car salesman.
Yeah, we'll do it on this camera this one time. I was like, I'm just looking for jobs, right? I worked for Pizza Hut. While I worked for Pizza Hut, probably for a year and a half, 2 years, I literally walked to work every day. I couldn't afford a car. I literally was walking for a year and a half, 2 years in the snow, not uphill both ways, but I was in the snow, riding a bicycle, driving your car.
I felt sorry for you.
Yeah, got out of that because I wanted to make more money than working at Pizza Hut, and we got into outside sales. I'm a horrible outside salesman, even to this day. Horrible.
Absolutely
horrible outside. I'm introverted. No, most people don't know that. I simply just can't walk up to people and pitch them an idea on something to buy. Horrible at it. And
You could do it if it was on video.
I can do it if it's on video because I'm more comfortable with video now. But walking up to that gatekeeper, that receptionist, and like, hey, I'm here to sell something, basically is what you're saying, but you have to schmooze them. And I'm not a schmoozer. Started at that Chevy store and got fired on my day off.
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
And didn't know what to do. It was devastating. And I got a job here. I was able to either work at this Saturn dealership. This used to be a Saturn dealership. Or this is Kelly Automotive Group in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Or I could work at the Cadillac store. And I was guaranteed $1,800 per month of income at this dealership. Or I was what was called a draw down there of $1,800, and I didn't understand them. And when the HR guy explained it to me, I still didn't understand it. So needing a job and desperate, and her pushing me to stay in the car business,
Not necessarily stay in the car business, but
take the job.
we had bills to
Yeah,
pay,
yep.
and we were behind on our mortgage.
Behind on our mortgage, all that stuff. So I took this job
The
here.
safe job.
Yep, it was safe. It was guaranteed $1,800 a month, which was 1,800%
A lot of money back
more than
then.
more than what I was making, because I wasn't doing a good job selling outside sales. Advertising is what I was selling. My very first month, I sold 7 cars, and I started on the 14th of the month. So I'm like, oh my God, if I sold 7 cars in a half a month, the very next month I could sell 15 cars, right? And I failed. I only sold 13 cars that month, the next month, but that is by far my worst month ever in the car business. Well, I guess COVID month.
Yeah.
I guess COVID month. I was just sick with
Now
COVID.
you have
Yeah, I was just sick with COVID, and I didn't work for a month. So I guess those months was 0. But for me, going to work and actually making work, this happened. So, but some bad things happened while I worked here. And I want to make sure and stress that nobody go out and say anything to anybody. I'm telling you the story, honestly, but there is no ill will to anybody when I'm about ready to tell you this. I moved from this store to the Cadillac store as a promotion. I became a finance manager after a few months of being at the Cadillac store. I was there for a few years. This was 2002. 2006 was when the last thing happened. But in the meantime, a gentleman named Denny passed away, and he had never really shown anybody how to do his job. He was very selfish and very protective of his job. He passed away suddenly on his lake house, and I was the person to go in the job because he showed me the way of how to do this job. And that got my foot in the door into management. So fast forward to 2006, we decide to buy a house, and we still had our first house from 1999, and I went to the ownership and the general manager of the company, and this is a big conglomerate company. They have everything, Ford, every General Motors brand, everything. They had Hummer at the time, Volvo at the time, just a huge conglomerate of a building. And so went to them, was like, hey, listen, I'm buying this $500,000 house. Is my job protected? And the reason I did that is because we just went through the store and fired every single manager except me. So I literally was running the store for 2 or 3 months, right? By myself, working 6 days a week, opening the store, closing the store, not spending time with them or anything like that. And they all told me yes. So I had an engagement with my son to go to Washington, D.C. The only time I've been to Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing trip that I had to go to. Well, they hired new managers, and they came from California. And I literally, the day they started, I'm like, see you guys later. I'll be back in 4 days because of the trip. Well, I get back and they're trying to change things, and I was the senior manager, and I was kind of like the one in charge. And I'm like, no, let's not change things right away. Let's get to know each other and stuff like that. I close on this $500,000 house. We still have our first house, which was only $118,000 brand new. The day after I closed it, I got fired, completely out of a job, 100%. And screwed big time. $2,500 a month mortgage on that house, $1,100 a month mortgage on the other house, and I had no income. Talk about feeling defeated, looking at my past, that I've told you all of this stuff, that I'm going down the same path as my family. Like, what am I gonna do? I have 3 kids at this time. Are we gonna be homeless? Do we have to go to our family and tell them this stuff? And I'm never told, your mom doesn't know this, your brother doesn't know this, nobody knows this. This is the first time we're ever talking about it publicly to anybody, even privately, just between you and me. It's all it's ever been. I got another job at a Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram store. They're very old school in the way they were thinking. I'm very new school, and it didn't work out, and I got fired there. Fired twice, almost 1 year. So that was 2007 that we got fired from that job. I lasted there about a year, a little over a year. I didn't know what to do. Back to square one, how I felt in 2006. So I started looking for a job again. And here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I didn't feel that there was any other good dealerships to work for. This channel is not about me working at a car dealership. This channel is about other things that we're gonna explain here in a second of this very long video, and I appreciate you guys being here. I had to do something for them. So this is how we get to Louisville, Kentucky.
How about Louisville?
No.
Louisville?
Oh, definitely wrong.
Louisville?
Yes.
I found a general sales manager's job of 3 Chevy stores down in southern Indiana. And I'm not gonna talk about this store because I do still have a little bit of ill will of the store of how I was treated and lied to. But we're not gonna attack them. We're not gonna do anything negative to them. I worked there for 2 years. After 2 days, I realized I made a mistake. But we're in the position that I have a $1,100 house payment, $2,400 house payment, 2 car payments, 3 kids, and a wife at home. And I had to be successful. Then 2008 comes along, right? This is 2008 now. And the economy crashed. So here we are again for the 3rd time in just a couple years. I'm not making any money in the car business, and it's devastating. And we literally lost both houses. We foreclosed on both houses. My income for 08 and 09 was down to like $45,000. I was making good 6-figure income, the most money I've ever made in my life. Very bad with saving. I spent it all. Even Fred, who is the general manager here, I remember this like it happened yesterday. He told me in his office that the more money you make, the more money you spend, and I didn't take that to heart. And I was bad with my money. This dealership that I worked for in southern Indiana just treated me absolutely like shit. I come home at the end of January of 2010. I look her. I was like, I can't work for this company anymore. It was a Saturday night. I got yelled at for something so stupid, just put my foot up on a chair because my back was hurting. And I can't work for this dealership anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So
Literally.
once again, you put us in to
I literally
no
walked,
income.
I literally walked in the next day and quit. It was a Sunday. Nobody was there. I left a letter of resignation, left all my keys, my company demo, everything done. Early 2010, I did go to a couple dealerships to keep money coming. Didn't work out real well with them. Got fired from one of them, which was fine. I laughed at her in her face when she fired me. That was a huge blessing in disguise because I walked into Bachman Chevrolet and I spoke with Ryan Bachman, and being a manager, their only concern was, can you be a car salesman and not be a manager? Are you going to come in here and try to boss people around? Kind of a big thing in the car business. I said, nope, I'm done with being in management. In 2008 and 2009, I learned a very valuable lesson of trying to get people to work when they're not motivated. And when there are no car sales happening and people not coming in the front door, it's not very motivating to go in and think that you're just going to waste your day and not make any money. So I was done with that. I was tired of that. And I was going to control my own destiny. As of this today, I have no boss. I guess I have people who are over me, but I do what I want and get things done and make Bachman Chevrolet a lot of money. So I'm very fortunate that this car business in 21 years has been ups and downs, but generally speaking, over the last 11 years, it's made me successful of what I've learned previous to that. And we tell you all of this because regardless of how bad it can get or how bad it can look, and as a little kid, I always thought I was the poorest kid in the world. And obviously as an adult, I know that's not true, but I never stopped focusing on definitely what I learned in 1992 of meeting her and her family, to keep focused and to do what's best for our kids and you.
And regardless of the ups and downs, the car business has actually been very good for us.
It is.
You would never have YouTube.
Never
channel
have what I have now. Nope.
And all that type of stuff. But, saying all that, our next part is where we're trying to go, which is to
Earn money.
Yep,
earn money.
For our very own
Dealership. This is what we want. We want to buy our own dealership. We want to build our own dealership. Business plan is already done.
The store
building,
name.
the company name is done. The company is formed. The building is.
It's been rendered.
It's been rendered. That's I said retrofit. I meant rendered. But as a motivation to us, this is what we're working. This is what this channel is all about. Is having fun, learning, because we're morons when it comes to building cars, and we want to buy cars to turbo. We want to buy cars to supercharge. We want to buy cars to put cams in, and very fun learning all this stuff and just go do it. So I want to apologize that she's so long-winded, but make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn your bell notifications on, and come with us on this wonderful journey we're about to have. Let's go.